Okay. So now we're gonna pretend like this is like 1/64 scale here. We're gonna make tiny little canyon walls. And what I'm gonna do is, so we're just gonna we're basically gonna make rock formations that we can turn into walls or whatever, based on how we glue it together. Bam. Yep. Yeah, uncap this. There's a link below for this, the Bob Smith Industries version, but it's the same glue, just has a different brand on it. If you want to get yourself a little 4-ounce bottle to test it, I think I have the link below. Yeah, it says clear foam glue. Or if you want to get this, you can get this. This glue stick I put in here is actually technically a little bit too small, so it doesn't want to hold very well because hot glue sucks, except for when I need it. All right. So we're literally just going to randomly glue pieces together. Well, let's do this. Let's twist them. Let's do a column, and then I'll show you a column, and I'll do a wall, which is, you know, really not that different. They're kind of the same thing, but for that hot glue to heat up some more. Are you gonna work? Having to push the glue through because now I'm dedicated to it because the stupid grip won't grip the glue stick because the glue stick is like, I bought a cheap glue stick, that was the problem. And it's not rated properly. Okay, there is a basic shape. Set that aside. Do something with these really quick. All right, there we go. 3 little quick styrofoam columns. Let's do another way. A hot wire cutter and everything I said before, and we're going to just slice this into some random shapes. Hey, look at that. There's a random shape. I'll do a bigger random, well, maybe I'll do a flat bottom on this one. There's another random shape. And let's see. Yeah, I'll do a kind of a smaller shape over here. There's a random shape. Here's another random shape. So, time to make an enormous mess. If you're underage, make sure you get parents' permission or you have them supervising you if you're using a box cutter like me. There we go. The bones of rock walls and canyon walls. So I'm literally doing this in like 1/64 scale. So take these ideas and go get yourself some 6-inch thick pieces of foam. You know, when you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6-inch pieces of foam, you got yourself a 36-inch wide canyon wall. Right, so you can scale this up. I like using this cheap white cellular foam because of it, because you can get this already beginnings of a rock texture out of it. When you use the pink hard foam or the insulation foam, you have to really add texture to it, and which is fine. You can do that. Maybe you're going for a smoother texture, but to get this really natural, random rough texture, you kind of got to do this with it, or do this foam with it. It's the heat gun. All right, you can do this with you can do this with a hair dryer if you want. I'm gonna use my heat gun just because that's what it's for, right? Just for doing this. I'm literally just going to do this and create a popsicle and just do this. And now it's all slightly more blended. Do another one. Okay. So now let me get some paper towels to lay down because I'm about to make a mess. This is a bucket of play sand. Oops, with my lid breaking. Anakin Skywalker repellent. Just play sand from a 60-pound bag at Home Depot. Cost less than 10 bucks. All right. We need this. We need a chip brush. I'm going to use a chip brush because they've got lots of bristles that spread out all over the place, and they're cheap, and I don't mind ruining them. Just going to spread, paint, pour. That's the word I'm looking for. My gosh. It's amazing when I go live, I can't speak English anymore. Okay. We're just going to go pretty thick with this. And I'm going to get my brush wet and then spread around that Mod Podge. I'm not going to do a Mod Podge mixture. This is just another way of doing it. I could make a mixture that's like 50% Mod Podge, 50% water. Actually, probably for this, it would probably be better to have more Mod Podge than water. But I'm just solving that mixing dilemma by just spreading it on solid and then thinning, or laying it on solid and dense, and then just thinning it with a wet brush. Okay. Sand. This doesn't have to be an exact science, just get it on there. I would appreciate a shout out just so people could know that they have stuff that they can learn here. I don't claim that I invented any of these techniques. I'm typically just rediscovering techniques other people had discovered in the past, you know, so I'm excited that I figured them out and I'm sharing them with you guys, but I appreciate the shout out because it lets people know there's something to learn on this channel, you know, and it's worth their time to subscribe and watch. All right, there is our first rockola formation. Ola. Like you're coating an ice cream cone in fudge or something. Our sand styrofoam kebab method. This is a small one, I can get it done quicker. Oop. I don't know where my sweepy panty thing is. I don't know where it is. I'll go find it later. Okay, cool. So here are our Kentucky Fried Rocks. So that's one. So this is, of course, this is just with the color of the play sand. I would absolutely paint these later, right? Just to cover up the white spots and even out the color. I would paint these with probably a base coat. It depends on if I want to go more red or more orange or more just tan or even more gray with the color, depending on what you want it to look like. If you want to go gray rocks, maybe it's not Tatooine, maybe it's some other planet. I would start with a dark tone, and then your mid tone's the brightest, strong. I'm not going to do it here because the Mod Podge isn't dry enough. So I wouldn't do black because unless I'm doing gray or I want them to look like super dark brown. I would probably do an undercoat of burnt umber, and then I would come back with nutmeg or like that French beige spray paint color, and but in like an acrylic, and paint it as my main color. And then I would do a dry brushing of a lighter color, and then I would come back with a wash of the second color that I used. And then I would come back, and if I needed to retouch up highlights with the dry brush, I would do that to even it back out, and then maybe another wash of a lighter version of that midtone. And that's probably what I would do to color these. So, but I would pick a color scheme, whether it was gray or a more red orange or a more brown brown or brown orange or an orange brown or whatever, right? So a base color, a mid color that's really the main color that I'm going to tone up and tone down, a light color for dry brushing, and then a mixture of the lighter and the darker in washes and dry brushing to blend it all back out however I want. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. I'm going to end the stream right there. I got to go home and kiss my wife. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you always for your support. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. And if you're watching in the future times, welcome to the past. Have a good night. Excuse me, that was a burp. Okay. Look, I got a new shirt. It's an anniversary present from my wife.